Hello, this is High Templar. Welcome back to my Total War Warhammer news video, and we have a big update, foundation update that was released yesterday. I know this article is actually 2 days ago. The update was live yesterday, but I'm on vacation. I had trouble updating videos. So without further ado, let's go into the update itself. This is a massive update which changes pretty much everything for the starting races in Total War Warhammer, and that includes Chaos Warriors. It changes some of the mechanics in the game, it changes the lords, and also this one, we are also getting with this one Regiments of Renown, 30 units of Regiments of Renown, which I have already covered in my previous videos. So, the Norscan incursions. Firstly, the map of Norska is changed a lot. We no longer have two very powerful tribes, but we have a lot smaller ones, but those smaller ones pack a bigger punch, especially in the later game, when they will be able to get all those mammoths and cool creatures. They would be very dangerous if left unchecked, but at the very start of the game, they will not be as powerful, and probably playing as Bretonia, you will have a slightly lighter start, basically, because of that, because scannings in the start would absolutely spam their armies at you if you are playing Bretonia, especially on legendary difficulty, so that would be easier. But in general, it will make game more interesting, and it says here that both Wulfric and Trog will take their hunting parties down south, so maybe we will see more incursions of Norska implemented in AI, and that's amazing. Secondly, they tell us about the birthday gifts, which is 30 Regiments of Renown units, which I did mention before. You just get to download them, it's cool. We also get Chinese translation, which is, well, not a game changer, very important for you if you are a Chinese and do not speak good English, but otherwise, not really. Now, there is lots of design changes in Chaos, and they are supposed to make those campaigns look a lot faster. Firstly, the legendary lords like Archeon, Kolek and Sigvald are getting new campaign bonuses. Well, not really bonuses for the two of them, but I will get to that in a moment. The technology categories now provide replenishment bonuses, so those categories that you start to unlock even more powerful bonuses are now also give you replenishment bonus, which is very important for Chaos, like crazy important for Chaos. Awakened Tribe will now become your vassal stand of allies. That's also very important because those guys will fight each other. And if they're your vassals, they will not. And they will also grant you some additional income. So now, conquering Norska actually makes sense for non-RPG reasons, for non-role-playing reasons, because before, not really. You can just make them your friends through fighting the same people, and it is a lot better. Well, you won't get Sigvald, right? But Sigvald wasn't that good either. So it changes, all of this changes right now. It makes sense to go after Norska and conquer all of that. Now, vassals from Awakened Tribe have personality, which makes them a lot more loyal. Again, very cool. I have not had a vassal go against me in my Chaos campaign, but if they are even more loyal, that's great. Chaos Encampment reduce unit upkeep by greater amount. Max out Horde can now, in many cases, become self-sustaining. That's amazing. If you can just go and camp, go and camp, go and camp, and then race, that would really be great. Especially you already have a lot of bonuses that reduce their upkeep. Now, rework post-battle occupation, you only have now race and loot and race options. So that's actually good change, because before you could just sack settlement and move on and go back to it later, or do multiple sack, which some people actually overused, and that is great change that they can no longer do that. On the other hand, it was cool, for example, for me to get to Karakadrak and then sack them and leave them broken and come back later to finish the job. That was something I like to do because, dwarves are rich. But you can no longer do that. But that's a small thing, and now if I can loot and race, it will be even faster game for me, so great. Rework in fighting, only murder units will now have in fighting. I do not agree with that. Well, Chaos Warriors do fight against each other, so that's pretty crazy that Chaos Warriors would not fight against each other right now, but it will make your death stacks, led by legendary lords, full of champions, you will be able to keep them close together, so that's cool. Defeating Norscan leaders you will be able to vassalize them very, very fast, so you can get even faster all that Norsca, and you will have new skills. Now, Empire Position Overhaul, basically what it means is that if AI playing Empire, not you, they will get entire Reichsland, they will no longer have Empire Secessionists. So they will be more powerful, and with that they will start a game with more punch and probably will be able to be a big player in the later game, although in all my Let's Plays they were. Woodles have a new followers because that's people complained about lack of the followers a lot, and now they are getting ones, but they are overpowered, like pretty much everything Creative Assembly do from the, something new they do, and it needs to be overhauled. Like Val's Anvil Smith gives all the troops plus 20 armor. If you are playing Orion and you have all those low armor elves, that is massive. Alright, Legendary Lords, new campaign effects. For Karl Franz, he's getting some bonus to level 4 lords, that's okay, fine. Volkman the Grim, increased chance of magical item, fine, that's cool. Thorgrim, additional XP to hammerers, that's minor, fine, okay. Angrim has additional all speed for all forces, faction-wide plus 10%, that's massive. Grimoire Ironheart forces don't lose fightiness in enemy territory, that's slight. Azak the Slaughterer has a boost to research rate for his entire faction, that's actually cool. Archeon Everchosen, negative bonus for diplomatic bonus for all factions. That is huge. I mean, that is not really that big. I mean, it's not like you or do anything. I don't with my Let's Plays with either Kolek or Archeon. But it doesn't make them more powerful, then it makes them less powerful, and with the Kolek has increased chance of being ambushed. That's pretty much the same. But now Sigvald has some bonuses, and he has diplomatic bonuses with Norscan tribes, which makes them even you can vassalize them even faster, which is great. And Sigvald now, it makes sense to pick Sigvald now. Karzak One Eye has additional charge bonus for Bestigor Herds, which is pretty cool. Malagor the Dark Omen, some diplomatic bonuses with Beastman Herds, that's cool, fine, whatever. Manfred, additional XP for Graveguards and Black Knights. Graveguards will be important. We also get new skill trees for all Legendary Lords that no longer from the foundation really. So Karl Franz, additional recruitment ranks up to 3 for the Lords and some leadership for basic troops, but even better is Imperial Special Forces, plus 5 bonus versus large and plus 4 melee attack makes those Right Guards really powerful, and you can get them early on in the game. And the Great Swords plus 5 leadership and plus 7 bonus is not bad either. For the Heroic Knightly Band, some more XP and recruitment cap for Empire Captains is okay, fine, Empire Captains not that particularly powerful, but you can use them in campaign very effectively. And then finally, unit recruit experience plus 2 and minus 5 upkeep for all his army, which is very cool, and his final plus 10 weapon strength and unbreakable for Karl Franz, which is always useful if you are fighting other lords. Balthazar Geld will now get he will get Imperial Pegasus, that is special Imperial Pegasus, but you will also get his skills, giving him additional armor, which is whatever, but also giving his entire army plus 6 armor, which is cool, but elves can get plus 20 from the single follower. Getting plus 6% armor and missile damage for all the ranged troops, which is great. additional Luminarc and Steam Tank bonuses, missile damage and ammo, or ward save. That is useful, I guess. But what is very cool is that you are getting some action cost and recruitment cap for wizards and plus 10 research rate with one of the skills, and finally some Winds of Magic Power Reserve plus 25, that's big, and some additional income. So pretty cool stuff. And people don't really pick this guy, so now it makes sense to pick this guy. Now, for the Ungrim Iron Fist, we have some nice buffs. Firstly, you can pick between two different buffs. One is Determined Deadblow, which starts below 50 HP and gives him plus 24 weapon damage and plus 16% armor piercing damage, which is like fine, cool, you can use that. But Extremely Daring Deadblow is triggering at 20% and gives you plus 44% weapon damage, plus 36 armor piercing, and plus 30 physical resistance, which means pretty much additional 6% hit points. Useful, but only in extremely rare situations, unless you are putting Ungrim at the first line on the regular basis, so then it's very useful. Alright. Then you have some Nemesis, which gives you weapon strength for Ungrim, plus 15% versus different races like Greenskin, Undead, or Norscans. And finally, very cool thing, Doom Seekers, which gives Ungrim wound recovery time -2, which is great. And Slayers in the army, plus 30% casualty replenishment, which is amazing. You can put those guys in harm's way and replenish them fast. Now, Thorgrim Grudgebearer has now some slight buffs because people do pick him a lot, but Growth, Public Order, and Reduction for Vampiric Chaos is useful, and also upkeep for Longbirds and Hammerers, which will be basically as Stample units in your army, -7% is useful, and Detain upkeep at the same time. I mean, not upkeep, but hero recruitment rank and recruitment cap. Useful, very useful indeed. Artillery and ammo, artillery missile damage and ammo plus 6% for everything is also very fine, but Master Engineer action cost -15% and recruitment cap is useful as well. And this is only a single skill, both of these things. And Advanced Forging is even better, giving plus 7 research rate, which dwarves can have a lot of research things. Runesmith recruitment cap +1 and additional income from buildings. And finally, Grudges, Grudge Against Chaos, Greenskins on Mankind, giving his entire army +4 leadership and +5 melee attack. So that's pretty good, also for Vampire Counts and Elves. Heinrich Himmler is now not basically useless. So his skill is focused on Krell, giving him more time for Krell. Half speed degradation means Krell can stay in combat twice as long. Immortal Challenges gives him Onslaught, Deadly Onslaught and Foe Seeker abilities, which are very good. And then plus 25% health and plus 10 melee defense is huge. Plus 5 melee attack and plus 10 charge bonus is not so great, but then you are getting Krell no longer degrades, which gives him pretty much, you can summon him and he stays on the battlefield until he dies, and then you can summon him again, which is pretty, in the next battle, which is pretty cool. But all Master Necromancers in Kemmler army has additional skills like Lords of the Scourge, which gives leadership bonuses for all, and attrition and replenishment rate for all units in the army, but also have Thrall Masters, which gives some huge bonuses for skeletal and zombie units, +2, 4, and 6 ranks on recruitment. Recruitment cost decreased by up to 15%, and Rise Death cost reduced up to 15%. Grimgore Ironhide is giving slight buffs. Lords +2 ranks, which is like, okay, fine. Not really that powerful, but always something. Then, very cool ability, Black Orc Wrecking Ball, which gives all the army, all the Black Orcs in the Grimsghost army +4 AP damage and +6 charge bonus, which is very, very fine. Now Bigger and Badder gives Orcs, Savage Orcs and Beagons unit +5 bonus versus large and +4 leadership, which makes them actually useful against large units, I mean Beagons. Now this bonus versus large is pretty reasonable. Finally giving Grimgor Fear, gaining some health and giving him some speed and frenzy, and 15% speed is not nothing. Azag right now is getting some decrease in attrition and upkeep for pretty much everything but Black Orcs, and then he's getting some leadership bonuses, melee defense bonuses and missile damage bonuses, which are pretty substantial. This is pretty big bonus. Then Insane Visions giving some Shaman Heroes +2 ranks and recruitment cap, which is not really something you should pick. Then Interception Chance and Holdout Time, which is again not really something I would be interested in. Finally +10 charge bonuses, +4 melee for Azag himself, and finally +15 Winds of Power reserve and some regeneration, which is very useful as well. Archean the Everchosen now gets pretty much the same as other lords, so the faction leaders +2 recruitment ranks for all the lords, then Chaos Warriors units -8 upkeep and -10% recruitment. I do have to remind you, this is additive bonus, so your Chaos Warriors will be extremely cheap if you build all the buildings that decrease their upkeep, like extremely cheap. But I would go with Chosen either way, so there's that. Chosen units is getting +6% of physical resistance and +4 melee defense, which is huge because you will have a lot of them and it will be a huge boost to your entire army. Finally, Chaos Knights +8 weapon strength and +8% speed, huge again. And some Exalted Heroes recruitment cap and ranks, which would be not good for the other lords, for the other factions, but Exalted Heroes are very crucial to this campaign, and having that is really big. Finally, his final bonus is actually both Winds of Magic and Physical Resistance bonus and Chaos Corruption. Fine. Sigvald the Magnificent is getting some strange thing like leadership for Sigvald army, but he's getting increased upkeep for all the lords that he will get, which is, makes sense for him. Self-Obsessed giving him small buffs for melee defense and attack. Stylish giving again for Sigvald army this time +4 armor and +3 melee defense, which is huge. Then for Incendiary army, no matter what units. Then -5 upkeep and additional income from raising and post-battle loot, which is also quite good. And Board to Serve, which gives some bonuses to his heroes, but not really that good. And Untrustworthy, making him cause terror. Pretty cool indeed. Collect Sun Eater, giving him basic bonus, some leadership in the siege and siege holdout time. I never do siege holdout, so doesn't matter for me. Some additional armor and magical resistance for Kolek is always good, but then you are getting Giant Killer, which gives him +6 bonus versus large and +6 weapon strength. I don't think those two skills are that particularly powerful because Kolek is very powerful on his own. Seismic Shock, 8% weapon strength plus for all his Dragon Ogres, and then +5% charge bonus is amazing. And Undeadly and Anomalous, giving him additional campaign movement range and casualty replenishment rate, which is amazing indeed. And finally, Chaos Corruption and Frenzy is maybe, whatever. Balance changes, we are getting all Dragon Ogre Shaggot +50 armor. Yes, that's good. They were too expensive for what they did on the battlefield. And Kolek +30 armor. I wouldn't. I love Kolek. I think he is very, very powerful as he is. Giving him additional armor, I'm glad because I'm using it, but I don't think this was necessary. Reduce cost for Minotaurs, which makes sense, and increase for Crypt Horrors, decreased for Forest Dragon and Terror Guys. That all makes sense. Units that are very used are more expensive. Units that were very overpriced are now less expensive. Makes sense. Dwarf Cannons and Bolt Throwers now make additional 38 and 24 bonus versus large respectively, so they will deal a lot more damage to those large units. And Dwarf Cannons will be even more accurate, which is like, they were accurate before. From the bug fixes, there is nothing really that is that interesting. For the characters, Archeon has additional frenzy and physical resistance, which makes sense. He was underpowered on the battlefield. Sigvald has defense and morale, and increased health, which makes him actually very good leader right now. He was pretty decent for the multiplayer at least. Now he's really decent. Grimgo Ironheart, charge bonus and mag and health, very nice indeed. Prophetess and Fey Enchantress costs adjustment. Wyvern Mounts has now poison attack from the start, which is very, very cool. And Regiments of Renown, very important. 10 turns of cooldown before you kill them or disband them. You can recruit only in 10 turns, which is very, very, very important because it could be overused crazily. You can replenish your entire army very, very fast. And now you can't, so that's great. Now Earthblood and upgraded, they are now a lot shorter by half, but their cost was reduced. I like that. Raise Dead and upgraded Raise Dead increased cooldown for 19, which is also, yes, it was overpowered. Reichsland Rungfang is now changed. We will remain to be seen if that's any useful. Icon of Devotion, again, remains to be seen if that's any of importance. The Mist of the Lady, I don't know, we will have to wait and see. Wrath of Manan should deal more damage to the targets. That is really, really important, and that's cool change. And Cloak of Isha, adding small healing effects is like, well, okay, fine, whatever. Also, Azak has replaced the Spider Banner with the Scroll. Doesn't really matter. So this is it. I do feel this is great balancing changes, except for a few. I do believe this was massive overhaul that makes this game really, really polished. There are some units missing, true, but this game right now plays really, really well. I will play some multiplayer campaigns to see if that makes sense in the campaign, but from the multiplayer perspective, at least I think those changes make sense. Except for Kolek, who I do play a lot and I think he's good. Additional 30 armor is fine. We'll have to wait and see. Anyhow, this is it. I hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will, and see my other videos. In Total War Warhammer, I'm doing mod reviews, DLC analysis and speculation videos like this one, and Let's Plays in Total War series and other games. Thank you for watching, and see you later.